I'm Stephen Foskett, organizer of Tech Field Day and editor of Gestalt AT, and we are here at fabulous Las Vegas VMworld. I've been meeting with many companies, and today I'm here with Pure Storage. We were talking the other day about VVols integration, and so I thought I would ask Anthony to show us around about it. So you want to introduce yourself and then
Sure.
Show us what we're doing?
Yeah, my name is Anthony Ferrario. I'm the product manager at Pure Storage, responsible for our VVols implementation, as well as some of our VMware integrations. So I'm hoping to show you guys some of our core functionality for VVols through our web client plugins.
All right.
Alrighty.
Let's see what you got.
So what we've got here as just a bit of a setup for you is a VMware environment with a couple of FlashArrays attached to it. And what we'll start out with is connecting VVols through VASA to one of our FlashArrays. So as you can see, we're looking at the storage providers, and while we have one FlashArray connected, we can easily do another one. So let's go over, and we'll go into the Pure Storage tab, and we can look at the FlashArrays that we have available. Now we have a simple right-click drop-down option here called Register Storage Provider that will take care of all of this for you. I want to pause here for a second because it's pretty simple how you can actually do this using our plugin. All you need to provide is the login for your FlashArray, the username and the password, and then select which vCenters you want to connect to, and we'll take care of the rest.
Your password is password, huh?
In this case, it's Pure User. That's the default on the system. So once we've got that VASA provider registered, we'll go ahead and show you the process of mounting storage. So you can see here we've got both the controller 1 and controller 0. Actually, before we get to storage mounting, I want to talk a little bit about how we actually serve our VASA provider and how that's different. So in a lot of cases in previous VVols implementations, you were dependent on a virtual appliance deployed in your environment that you had to maintain in order to keep your VVols connectivity up. And that turned out to be a problem for a lot of people in the enterprise. What we've done instead is we actually have dual active-active, highly available VASA providers which are served off of the controllers of the FlashArray. And they're actually stateless, with the state being stored in the media, the same way we do for the rest of our controller services.
So it's truly integrated into the array rather than being a separate system.
Correct, correct. And we think that's actually what's going to enable people to really adopt this in the enterprise.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea, because I've been somewhat critical of companies that use like a virtual machine.
Yeah. And we think of it as a core functionality of the array. That's the way we approach it.
It really should be.
Yeah. So what we can do is right-click on the cluster and go down and create a data store. Now, this is a quick workflow for us, and it looks very simple, but under the hood, there's actually a fair few moving parts here. What we can actually do is when we say create a data store, we're making this look and feel very similar to the traditional VMFS provisioning workflow, but under the hood, what we're actually going to do when you select VVols here is we're going to make sure that the storage container is mounted for the particular array that you're talking about, and we're going to make sure that a PE is connected, a protocol endpoint if you're not familiar. And then what we'll do is make that connection through to the FlashArray as well. So it looks and feels the same as VMFS, but it's not. So what we'll do here is we'll give it a quick name, and in typical Pure fashion, there's really not much else you have to tell us.
Yep.
The one thing we will do is we'll select the array, and then we'll select which cluster to provision to.
Castro being named after
Pure's headquarters. Correct.
Location, yep.
Correct.
Castro Street in Mountain View, lovely place.
Yeah, I love it there. So now what we'll do is we'll show how to provision a VM to this VVol data store that we've done. We'll start from a template, a Windows 2016 template, and the thing you'll notice here again is it's very much the same workflow as you would have had in a VMFS world, except you have a little bit more control over some of the policy aspects. So we'll select provision to Castro, and in this case, I'll pause here and mention the VM storage policy. Now these storage policies are part of the SPBM layer that VMware provides, where you can sort of identify some of the characteristics you want the storage to have underneath your VM. Now in this case, what we actually support is the ability to pull upwards from the array our replication and snapshot policies and bring them into VMware. Now in this case, we're going to select a very simple one, which is just going to be requiring it to be a VVols data store with no other requirements, but you do have access to all of the underlying technology on the physical array level that you could leverage for your VMs. And in this case, we'll select that M50 VVol data store that we created, and we'll create the VM. And from a creation and management perspective, that's pretty much it. So we jumped ahead here.
How long was this? How long did it take to make it happen?
It's a couple. I would say it's less than a minute.
Yeah.
It's really just dependent on the VM provisioning.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the time here, and yeah, it's pretty quick. Yep.
Yeah, it looks like it's actually about 2 minutes here, but still, yeah, it's nothing to do with how long it takes us to provision VVols, and we're actually going to jump over to the FlashArray next and look at some of the object created there, so that we can understand sort of why it's simple for us on the FlashArray. So now that we have this this VM created, we'll go over to and log into the FlashArray that we've got connected. As you can see, this is that same M50. And if you're not familiar with our GUI, it's fairly simple. What we did was we went to the storage tab, and now we've dug into the volumes area. And what we can see here is a concept called volume groups, which we've recently added into FlashArray. One of the primary reasons why we added volume groups was to help support VVols. Volume groups are not a VVol specific object, they just work really nicely for us in this context. So we'll go down and click on the volume group that correlates with that VVol, or with that VM rather. And what we can see is we've created 3 volumes on the array to be associated with this. We created a data VVol, a config VVol, and since we powered the VM on, we've now created the swap VVols. So all of these are core normal objects for us on the FlashArray. The VVols are just volumes for us. We can do all the normal stuff with it.
But they're organized by the volume group to keep them together.
Correct, yeah. We want to support VVols, but we wanted to do it without breaking any of our internal consistency on the way we do provisions. And we can see there's no space used by swap right now, very small volumes, and we're getting the same sorts of data reduction we would get on a normal VMware workload. Now the last thing I want to show you is how you can take a snapshot and what this looks like. So the normal VMware snapshot process, best practice says don't do it a lot. And the reason is it causes all sorts of redirect on write problems and various issues. But what we were able to do with VVols is we're able to offload that snapshotting to the physical array level.
And of course, your array has no problem with that. Your
correct.
array can handle quite a lot of snapshot operations
correct.
and all that.
Yeah, we call them instant. It's close enough that you'll never notice.
Yeah.
But what we can do now is we can see that we took that right-click snapshot, that VMware snapshot, and now we've gone back to the array, and we'll go look at that data VVol, and we can see the volume snapshot associated with it. All of this, all the orchestration is taken care of by VMware. You don't have to touch any of it, but it does give you this nice granular access and control. So that's basically it for the demo here.
So is the snapshot operation happening across all of the volumes in that volume group at the same time?
Yes. So
and that's why you did the volume group, right?
Yes.
So that the swap and the data and the config all get snapshotted at the exact same moment.
Yes.
For consistency.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And you really couldn't do that if you didn't have these volume group abstractions.
We can make it happen, but it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, it really does. Okay. And so basically we're getting a crash consistent snapshot of the system, which is about all you're going to get, right?
Absolutely. And the other nice thing about this is these snapshots are supported for replication as well.
Okay.
So if you do decide to enable replication, and since we support VASA 3, we've also supported replication. These VMware snapshots will be replicated to your secondary target. So if you were to do a failover from location A to location B, for instance, your snapshots that you took inside of VMware would come with you.
So what you've shown me is that the VVol implementation is completely inside the array without an external virtual machine.
Correct.
That it is 100% integrated with the vSphere web client.
Correct.
And that you can do grouped snapshots of multiple VVols at the same moment to get a consistent snap of a virtual machine, even with multiple volumes.
Correct. And you don't lose any performance by doing it.
Because everything is handled by the array, which is good at handling these things.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that I love about VVols overall is that essentially you're letting storage array do storage array things. Instead of trying to invent new software that does storage array things, you're just using the things that the storage array does well anyway, and in a way that's completely integrated with VMware vSphere.
Absolutely. And the other thing that's nice for us about the VVols implementation that we have is we also want to support it for scripting. So one of the nice things we've done too is we've put together a vRealize Orchestrator workflow package for managing these objects as well. So if your choice is in the web client, if your choice is via scripting, even through VRA, all of that's going to be supported by us.
Well, that's great because again, automation and integration is one of the hallmarks of this, the future of the data center. Whether it's more legacy applications or more cloud applications, it's all about automation and integration with APIs.
Definitely.
Well, thanks for showing me this. It was interesting to see it. It's great to see this in production. You know, this is something that I've been excited about for a long time, and it's great to see that it's rolling out. It's generally available, and people can use it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to show you.
Thanks for joining us here at VMworld 2018 in Las Vegas. If you'd like to learn more, just check out the Pure Storage website, or you can find us at gestaltit.com, or you can find us on YouTube. Just search for Gestalt IT.